Hi everybody, welcome to my home gym once again. Anyhow, I am here to talk to you about taking your measurements and your stats. Our mini challenge for this week during this contest is to take our measurements and stats. So the first thing you need to do is weigh yourself. The best time to weigh yourself is usually first thing in the morning and usually naked. That would be the best. So anyhow, I've already weighed myself today. I was 126 today and it is cycle day 28. So you want to make sure that you note that. You want to note at least what day it is. And in your Superstar Success Journal, you'll see that you have starting statistics, today's date. Write that down. You need to write down your height, your weight, your age today, and today's cycle date. So make sure you do that. Now, I have all kinds of fun little tools here. These are a couple body fat calipers. This is a brand new one that I got, and this is the one that I've used for the last 6 years. So I'm going to do myself a little experiment to see what the different readings give me. I've also got, let's see here, I've got this nifty little new Myo tape. And what this does is it allows you to, like, say, put this around your arm and get an accurate height reading without having to, so it's helpful for those of us that have to measure ourselves. So you can do it really anywhere. I don't particularly like it, but some people really like Myo tape. So that is a fun little tool to have. But I stick with this basic sewing measuring tape. I've had this again for the last 6 years. I like to measure the same stuff because the measuring tapes will vary, caliper measurements will vary, scales will vary. So try to keep all the variables as much the same as possible so you get accurate readings, okay? So first of all, let's just talk about the basic measurements that you hear everybody talking about, okay? So if you're a 36, 24, 36, you have the most perfect little hourglass body, right? So what they're talking about is 36 would be around your chest. So you measure right around your breast, okay? And that's what that is for. So for instance, I'm 37. Lucky me, huh? And then my waist, and that should be the smallest part of your waist, not your belly button, not where it's pudging out, the smallest spot, okay? And so that would be 27, 37, 27 so far. And then your hips, and I have relatively narrow hips, and mine are 35 today, so, okay? So typically, your measurements may vary quite a bit, depending on what cycle day you're on. Like I said, I'm on cycle day 28, so that means to me, I know that this measurement is going to be bigger than normal, and also my waist is often a little bit bigger than normal. So anyhow, those are the basic measurements that you need to take. Now I like to take a lot of measurements, so I'm going to go through all the ones that I take quickly for you and show you where I'm talking about and how to do it all by yourself, okay? So on the Superstar Success list, we have bust, and around the biggest part, and that is, like I said, nipple level. You want to just be nice and relaxed and measure it. And also have a note on here that you can take it flexed or relaxed on several items. So the bust measurement is just relaxed, okay? Now we have the second item is your chest. Now what I'm talking about on that is just underneath your armpits, over your breast, okay? So this is what I consider your chest measurement, okay? So you see how I bring that around my back, nice and relaxed. I measure that. Now this measures somewhat the muscle mass in your chest and in your back, and that's why I do that. So mine is 34, okay? Now, but what if I take a breath and pose like I'm gonna do a figure pose? Now I'm right at 36. So that's my flexed and my relaxed. So I'm going to mark those down. So it's 34 relaxed and 36 flexed, and my bust was 37. Okay, now my waist, relaxed. So that just means that it's just the basic smallest part of my waist, and I already did this one, it's 27. Now if I suck it in as hard as I can, okay, this is the next measurement that I want to take. Okay, okay? So we have 25 and a half, okay? So that's a recent good one for me. So we have 27 relaxed, 25 and a half sucked in, okay? And I already did my hips, but I'll just show you again. You take your measurement tape and you want to put it around the biggest spot that you can find, okay? So really on your butt and on your hips, and not down too far because that gets into your thigh area, but right here it's 35 and a half, so you can kind of see where I have it. Some people's butts kind of going up more than mine do. So that might be your biggest spot. My biggest spot is right down here, and you can test it by doing a couple different spots just to get your biggest spot is what you want, okay? That's unlike everything else. So mine was 35. Now the next one is shoulders, and I do this also for muscle mass gauging and to see if I grow wider in that area. The wider you are on top, the better V-taper you have, the smaller your waist appears. And then you try to make your leg look bigger so you get more of an hourglass figure, you know, because of your muscle mass. So you take your measuring tape and you put it around your shoulders, like a shawl kind of, but you want it around the outside, okay? Now this one's kind of tricky because you kind of have to get it all set here to measure. And just relaxed is 41 and a half. Now if I go up in a pose where I'm like flexing, kind of like a contest pose, I'm 43 and a half. So 41 and a half and 43 and a half. So 41 and a half and 43 and a half. And you don't have to do that one flexed. I'm just doing everything flexed and relaxed. I don't even have that as flexed on the sheet. But like I said, I don't change all that much. So any little difference that I see in my measurements in the right direction makes me see results, okay? So the next thing is biceps. Now the way you do this, I just do once on my body. I don't worry about doing right or left, but I do flexed and relaxed, okay? So you just put your arm up like this, and you wrap the tape around, and right at the middle of your bicep there, and so you have the relaxed, okay? Relaxed is 10 for me, okay? Then I go ahead and I flex my bicep, and I see what the difference is there. And that's 11 and a half. So it's 10 and 11 and a half. So that's really good. That shows that I've been actually doing some biceps lately, because I have. Okay, now I am going to move you back just a little bit so you can see my thigh without, okay. Actually, I might stand up here. Okay, can you see that? Okay, hopefully I won't fall. Okay, thigh. We want a mid-thigh measurement, and I say to measure 8 inches above your kneecap, and that's just, you want the middle of your thigh, so you get a good hammy. You can measure your muscle that way too, okay? So mine's 19. Now, the next measurement is, I say about 12 inches above your thigh, but really what I want is right below, right in your groin area, okay? Right, very high thigh. So this measures a lot to do with body fat, and that one's 20. Now, so we have the final measurement I'll stay up here for is our calf, and this one I'd like to measure 7 inches down from my kneecap. Now for every person that's a little different. I just use that as a general guide. Mine is 13, and really on your calf you really want to try to get the biggest part, okay? So that's the measurements. I believe that's all of them. Okay, now we'll talk about body fat. There's many ways to measure body fat. None of them, even the very, very best ones, which I believe Bod Pod is the best. It measures the air density around a person and then calculates, takes out your body mass outside of that, and then it tells you how fat you are. But anyhow, it's quite an interesting thing. I've had it done one time, and it was very, very accurate and very much less painful than hydrostatic weighing, which is the other very good method, which is torture. So I wouldn't recommend doing the hydrostatic weighing unless you really, really want to know really bad what your body fat is. But what I do is I have a little caliper, and this is just a cheap $10 caliper that I measure with, and I don't even figure my body fat. I just take the millimeter readings, okay? And I take 4 key points. I take my tricep, which is right back here. And really you want to make sure you just get the fat. So let me get a little closer so you can see here. Okay, you want to get just the fat. So see how I pick the skin off to separate the fat from the muscle, okay? So that's a key thing when you're measuring body fat. People that don't have much experience doing it will often give inaccurate readings and to their clients. So, you know, then I have my millimeter reading. I have a 4 for my tricep. So I write that down, tricep is 4. And then the next one is your abdomen and your iliac. So let me just put this down here so you can see. Okay, your abdomen is a measurement that you take this way, actually you take it just like this, right underneath your belly button. There's a little pouch of fat right there. Now I'm an apple, and so this is where I get my fat nice and easily here. So that is actually an 8. Okay, and then I'll show you your iliac. Iliac goes along with your iliac crest, and this is your bone. This is called your iliac crest. So basically what you're supposed to do is keep it that same angle and come over and measure on a diagonal, not a cross-sectional, a kind of a diagonal up and down vertical. So right in line with your iliac, okay, but just over. Okay, and so that one's very low on me actually. That's like, so, but that just kind of gives you an idea. And for men, you typically do the abdomen. For the women, you typically do the iliac measurement. And there's a super iliac, which is up higher, and a lower iliac. There's several different areas to test. I've been taught to do a 3-point test, which is tricep, iliac, and thigh. So I just recently added the abdomen because that's where I keep a lot of fat. So and now I'll show you thigh. Now, like what I was saying is that you need to make sure. Okay, now I'm going to do the thigh. Now this is the hardest one to do because it's hard to get the muscle to separate from the fat. So the best thing to do is to step with your leg forward, kind of relax it so that you don't have weight on that front leg, and kind of shake it a little bit here, and really, you kind of have to get aggressive. I just put lotion on so I can't hardly grab it. But you have to get aggressive about pulling that fat away from the muscle, okay? And then that's what you want to read, okay? Now, I don't typically hold a lot of fat on the front of my thigh, so that is quite a blessing. So anyway, but that'll just give you, okay, so that gives you a little idea on how to do the thigh. Sometimes you might get a little bit of bruising from that pinch site. I've told my clients that in the past because you do have to get aggressive about pulling the fat away from the muscle. And I think that a lot of women end up with a higher body fat percentage reading because trainers won't get aggressive enough about pulling that fat away from the muscle, and so they can just get the pure fat instead of all the flesh together. Okay, so now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take pictures. I'm going to show you just the basic poses and show you how I do that. So I am going to actually just take pictures using my video camera so I can walk you through it, and then I'll snap the snapshots separate from this, okay? So it's important to note that it would be good for you to get a tripod. They're not very expensive, $15 to $20 at Walmart, and they're very handy because if you really want to see your progress, you need to take pictures. They're a dose of reality for you. Sometimes our eyes deceive us. They deceive us both negatively and positively. I've done many counseling sessions with clients telling them that yes, they do have results. You need to just take your pictures and I'll show you. And they don't believe it until they actually see it and have it pointed out to them. So let's go ahead and take a little break here, and then I'll bring you through how to do your pictures, okay?